U.S. men's national team got a couple friendlies coming up this window. They got Ghana next Tuesday in Nashville, but before that, the four-time World Cup champions Germany Saturday, not far from here actually, in East Hartford, Connecticut at Rentschler Field. They're expecting about 40,000 in attendance. What are the odds makers expecting in this one? Well, Germany installed as pretty heavy favorites, despite the fact they've won just 2 of 7 games so far this year. Those struggles have led to a coaching change. Hansi Flick out, Julian Nagelsmann now in charge. Earlier this week, he spoke with R.K. Murray about the importance of these games coming up for Germany against the United States and Mexico.
We have to win. I think that's the most important topic, to get the special mood. It's always like that in soccer. When you win the games, everything is what you did before is good and well. When you lose the game, everything what you did before is so at the end, we try to win the game. We try to improve in a short period of time. We only have 2 or 3 training sessions, and it's important that every player get used to my ideas, and I get used to the players. We know each other, but not in a personal way with every player, because I do not train every player so far. So we try to use the short periods of time to get well prepared. And at the end, as I mentioned, the most important topic in soccer is to win games. So we try to win these 2 games.
For more on this German national team, thrilled to welcome our colleague Arne Friedrich into the studio. Played for Germany in a couple World Cups. We just heard the comments there from Julian Nagelsmann. What do you think? Is he putting a little pressure on his team ahead of these games?
I think everything has been said. To be honest, if you win games, then everything is fine, and the expectations in Germany are pretty high. He knows that, and obviously he stated that in the interview, and nothing but a win would be helpful. Knowing that our results weren't really good in the past, except for the France game, but Julian is a very smart coach. He's a good coach. The only thing we are all wondering is if he is a tournament coach. Obviously, it's a difference if you play in Bundesliga and you work with the team every day, day in and day out, and then you go into tournament not really having any experience. And therefore, I think also one of the reasons is why he brought in or back in Hummels as one of the experienced players, because experience is very important in a tournament.
Stevie, we have to win. As a manager, would you be saying that right now?
If I was a manager of Germany, absolutely. Germany, pretty much Germany against anybody have to be winning the game. As Anna said, in Germany, they don't tolerate anything else. So,
but I mean, realistically, we have to look at the recent record, no?
What do you mean? They're playing USA. How many players in the USA team get in this?
Shots fired, Stevie.
Well, I'm just being honest with you. You know, what? You're the coach of Germany, one of the biggest international football nations that ever played the game, and you want the coach to talk about, well, it's not about winning, it's about how we play. No, you got to win the game, and once you win the game, then you start building. So, yeah, of course they've got to win.
But maybe this is something that we need. Honestly, because in the past years, it was always about Germany, the big team, the tournament team. We really struggled recently, and also the years before, and we always talk like we're still like in the top 3 in the world. And sometimes a little humility would help, at least from my perspective, and especially in regards of the fans, because they see the results, and it's always easier like to show something on the field and not talk too much. But obviously, I understand the point. He has to speak confidential. Yeah. But on the other hand, a little humility in Germany in general would be helpful.
Beyond the result, if I'm watching the Germany national team and I'm a fan, what I would want to see from this team, about some toughness, some mental toughness, which we have equated to Germany for years upon years upon years. Structure, identity, personality. Nobody ever wanted to play the Germans because you knew that for 90 minutes they were going to be relentless. And yet what we have seen lately from this Germany national team is a little soft. A little soft defensively, a little soft through the midfield, not enough creativity in the attack, not enough personalities on the field, not enough character to fight through some adversity. We need to get back to that if I'm part of this German national team. I need to see some toughness. I need to see some fight, first and foremost. Then we can talk about the creativity, and then we can talk about the productivity and goals and all of that. But let me see what the personality of this team is, because we haven't seen that for a long time.
We just saw that 11 for Germany against France. I mean, it's loaded with talent. I know Hansi Flick wasn't in charge in that game, but why didn't it work under Hansi Flick?
There's probably a lot of reasons. But first of all, I agree with you, Ale, what you just said. in the past, it was always really tough to play against Germany, right? So it was physical, it was like hard work. We always had a great striker scoring a lot of goals. I mean, Klose was one of my favorites, obviously. I played with him. But right now, so you're not really scared of our strikers in general. You're not really scared of our center backs, which is, I think, a big problem. Because winning a tournament, or at least being successful in a tournament, requires a good defensive shape, some toughness. I mean, Argentina won the World Cup. Obviously, Messi was on the squad. But on the other hand, they fought. They fought for their lives, and they played ugly. And this is also what we need as Germans.
I'm curious about the vibe back in Germany, because I've heard that a lot of people aren't happy, even with the fact that Germany is in the United States for these games, right?
I think it was more the players, and I can understand that on one hand because of the many games they are playing, especially the teams which play Champions League. But on the other hand, everyone likes to go to America. This is something really, really great about it. And those games have to be played, especially in regards of the World Cup in 2026. And to be honest, they're all professionals, and it's just about playing soccer. And as soon as the referee blows the whistle, you don't really think about where you play.
We got the European Championships coming up in Germany in 2024. We just saw the odds there. They're the third favorites. Is that realistic based on kind of what we've seen over the last 6 months? And I'll
Just got a chuckle out of Arna.
Actually, I would rather not talk about that, and maybe to not mention us in the pool of the favorites. It would be helpful
He's
for
been
us.
listening.
Nagelsmann. No, but honestly, so my first World Cup was in 2006 after playing a horrible European Championship in 2004, and nobody expected anything, right? And the same still in the Euros in 2008. And then we got a little better, and we played the World Cup in South Africa. Obviously, this changed a lot. But now I think we're at a point we should just not put too much pressure on ourselves and not too much expectation, and just show up on the field. This is the most important to me, and I hope that we got some character, as you just mentioned, and that we win games. It's all about winning.
So so the outside world looks at Germany a different way. How do the Germans look at themselves? So when the Germans look at that third favourite, are they all thinking the same as you? Or are you, just because you've been there, seen it, done it, been a pro, understand where they are? Do the public understand where they are? Or do they have the blinkers on?
No, I think we are more realistic. That's what I said. I mean, everyone sees how we play or how we used to play. And it's not a bad thing. Sometimes you have to hit rock bottom, which we did in the past tournaments, and then you can rebuild. And this is a good time. And if you want to rebuild, you should not just put on too much expectation, just work and show up. And I was also really happy to see some players joining the roster. Behrens, for instance. I mean, he's a target striker. He's really, really hard to play against. He's really good with headers. And even Andrich, the midfielder, he's a very aggressive center mid. And so there are some players that Nagelsmann brought in. And also Hummels. I mean, you can even argue about Mats Hummels.
Yeah, that surprised me.
I think it's not a bad choice. Knowingly, of course, he's not the fastest anymore, but he knows how to play tournaments. He knows how to organize the defense. So, but in the end, we will see in a couple of months.
Right, but if you have him in the mix, as opposed to being a starter, then it's perfect. If you've got to rely on Mats, then you're not, in all honesty, you're not challenging for any tournament. So having him in and around the squad, getting some young guys in, having him and Chan and all these other older players, because in a year's time, somebody like Chan and Hummels, they can't be your starters. Because if they're your starters, then you're not going to be competing for the tournament.
Yeah, let's look at that in a different way.
I mean, do you think that's the midfield? You've got Kimmich, you've got Goretzka, you've got Gundogan. I mean, that's the core of your team, isn't it?
Yeah, but again, to me, winning tournaments and being successful, you need a good defense. That's, to me, it's so we never struggled with our goalkeepers. Obviously, we have amazing goalkeepers, and also you need a striker, which we just said before. But again, coming back to Mats Hummels, I think he's really hungry and he desperately wanted to get back on the squad. He kept quiet during the last couple of months, and now he's back on. He's really excited about it. So again, it's a 50-50. I think it's not a bad choice because of his experience.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
You know how you mentioned that you wish that Germany could just show up and play, that they just could sneak under the radar, and here we are, Germany's back. How is that possible when the tournament is in Germany? See, that's the part that I think is going to be really difficult, because those expectations are going to be there just by the fact that the tournament is in Germany, and Germany, given their history, it's going to be very difficult to push those expectations away.
Sure, but again, coming back to 2006, I think the last game we played before the World Cup was in Italy. We lost 1-4, and even before, nobody really expected us to move through the tournament like we did. So I don't say that we just like put ourselves too much down, but it's more like being realistic and just like look at the results and maybe just like fly a little bit under the radar, and then use also the atmosphere in the stadiums and the euphoria, which hopefully will get back if we win games. Again, coming back to Nagelsmann, it's all about winning or losing, and if you win, then the expectations, obviously, they change a little bit. But right now, let's be humble, play football and win games.
What about the U.S. perspective on this, especially Gio Reyna? Like, what a moment for him, back with Greg Berhalter, playing for Dortmund, can send a message to them to maybe lobby for some more minutes. It feels like a huge opportunity for him within a huge opportunity for the U.S. to go up against Germany.
Well, that's a soap opera within a soap opera, the whole Gio Reyna, Greg Berhalter. And only the two of them know what has been said, and only the two of them know exactly what the relationship is going forward. What we know from the outside looking in is that Gio Reyna is one of the most talented players in the U.S. national team pool. And if indeed they're going to achieve some of the things that they're thinking about, and they're going to get to whatever the next level is, Gio Reyna is going to have to be at the forefront of that alongside Christian Pulisic. So the best version of Gio Reyna alongside Christian Pulisic makes this team exponentially better. We just haven't seen the best version of Gio Reyna for a long time. Now, injuries are part of it, but at some point you have to start asking the question, okay, is this a player that we can trust to be available? Is this a player that, and while he is young and while the future is still bright for him, yes, it seems like a pivotal moment. It seems like an important moment for him, for club and country, coming back to the national team, playing for Berhalter again, and now looking to gain some importance and rotation minutes with Borussia Dortmund, which he hasn't had even when he's been healthy over the last couple of weeks.
Each of the last few seasons, it feels like when the campaign starts for Borussia Dortmund, we're saying, all right, this is the year that Gio Reyna is going to have that big breakthrough. What do they say in Germany about the player that he is?
About Gio Reyna?
Yeah.
Highly talented. Obviously, he was out for quite a while, which is not really helpful, especially for a young player. But he's got everything. I mean, in the end, it's about games. It's about showing up. Right now, he just played one game this season, obviously due to his injury. But he's amazing. I personally like him a lot. I wouldn't like him as a defender. Obviously, it's really hard to take him on. But he's great.